On a dark and stormy night in London, Sherlock Holmes was in his study, surrounded by books and documents. Suddenly, a tall and elegant figure appeared at the window. It was James Bond, who had come to confront the detective for unknown personal reasons. Without a word, Bond burst into the room with the agility and precision of a trained agent. Holmes, always alert, quickly stood up, adopting a defensive posture. Bond threw the first punch, a flurry of precise blows aimed at Holmes's face. The detective, though not a professional fighter, had knowledge of boxing and jiu-jitsu and blocked the attacks with swift and calculated movements. Bond, surprised by Holmes's skill, changed tactics. He drew his Walther PPK and aimed at the detective. Holmes, with his sharp mind, had already anticipated this move. With a leap, he covered himself behind his desk, pulling a small pouch from his pocket. With a quick motion, he tossed the contents towards Bond. A fine powder filled the air, temporarily blinding the agent. Taking advantage of the distraction, Holmes lunged at Bond, knocking him down with a precise blow to the stomach. They both rolled on the floor, exchanging punches. Bond quickly regained his sight and, with a fluid motion, threw Holmes against a bookshelf, knocking down books and objects. Holmes, dazed but determined, got up and grabbed a nearby cane. With a series of well-directed strikes, he forced Bond to retreat. Bond, keeping his composure, dodged most of the blows and managed to snatch the cane from Holmes, breaking him in two. The fight intensified. Both men, now sweaty and breathing heavily, knew they were evenly matched in skill. Bond attempted a judo hold to immobilize Holmes, but the detective, with unexpected dexterity, used Bond's momentum against him, throwing him into a glass table, shattering it. Injured but not defeated, Bond slowly stood up, his gaze fixed on Holmes. He knew this was no ordinary adversary. Holmes, with his clothes torn and a cut on his eyebrow, also knew he was facing one of the most formidable opponents he had ever encountered. "This doesn't have to end like this," Holmes said gravely, trying to reason. "There's a better way to resolve this." Bond, with an ironic smile, lowered his guard slightly, acknowledging the truth in Holmes's words. Both men, exhausted but respectful, knew that their confrontation had been a test of skills rather than true enmity. Finally, after a few tense seconds, Bond extended his hand. "You're right, Holmes. Perhaps there's a better way." Holmes, accepting the gesture, shook Bond's hand. Although they had not resolved all their differences, both knew that in that moment, the battle was over.